Saying the right things in the wrong way can cause you to miscommunicate your intentions to your audience. For example, let's say that you're giving a presentation on a new manufacturing process that recycles 99% of the previous material, but as you're doing the presentation, you sound unenthusiastic. Probably won't get that many nods of approvals throughout the presentation. Rather, you're probably going to get a crowd of blank stares. Not because you said anything wrong, instead the audience is trying to match your level. In this case, the message may have been perfect, but the execution, meaning the way you said it missed the mark. So the mantra, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, is very relevant in today's world. And it's something that every successful communicator should live by and utilize properly as a tool set. So the challenge here isn't just about delivering a message, it's about delivering it in a way that resonates, motivates, and doesn't alienate your audience. You want your audience to feel encapsulated. Your words, your sentences, the phrases, everything reels them in. Maybe you're presenting on something sad and you're trying to transcend that. Your words, they have to have a hint of sorrow that they start feeling themselves when you're giving the story, and you take these longer pauses, you look down, you avoid eye contact, and that sadness emotion pierce into them. And maybe when you get motivated, you start doing this with your hands more, you perk yourself up, you push your back, and you start making eye contact, and you start moving faster, and you speak faster, and that is what motivation feels like, and that's what they're going to start trying to reciprocate with you. And the words you choose are very important, but the way you deliver them can change everything. Miscommunication in this sense often doesn't stem from the content of the message, but the tone, the body language, and the context in which it was delivered. Think of sadness, confidence, relaxation. All these different emotions are what you portray in your tone and what you show the audience and what you're trying to get from them as well. There's a YouTuber, and I don't remember the name of the channel, unfortunately, but it's essentially a guy who's playing techno or dubstep in public, and he has like his little stand there, but he's played in different scenarios. He's also played in retirement homes and in coffee shops. So even in these scenarios where he's playing these types of instruments that are very rowdy and very high-pitched, and he's out here pumping, and the music is like party music, and he's in scenarios that are a lot calmer, the audience reciprocates that energy, and the old people are nodding and they're dancing, and some of them get up and dance, and the people in the coffee shop start laughing. They essentially match his energy, and that's a good example of showing how the power of message can resonate with the audience, whoever the audience is, and despite the setting. However, it can also happen that this type of communication causes misunderstandings, maybe conflicts, and a breakdown of trust if you don't utilize it correctly. Because there could very well be scenarios where there's misunderstandings based on the tone. So it's very important to understand that leading a team requires you to truly understand each member of your team and how receptive they are to various methods of communication. So you really want to understand the power of tone. The same words can have different meanings depending on how you say them. I love using this example because it emphasizes the power of tone and emphasis. So we're going to use a sentence. I've never said she stole my money. There's 7 different meanings that this sentence can have depending on which word you emphasize. For example, if you said, I never said she stole my money, you're basically saying it wasn't me who said it. Or you can say, I never said she stole my money. You never said it. I never said she stole my money. You might have implied it. I never said she stole my money. You didn't mean it was her. So right here, the tone and the emphasis that you're using on each exact word is changing the meaning. And that's just one sentence. Think about the effect that tone has on this one sentence, where it can be understood in 7 different ways. Now think about how tone could affect an entire speech, maybe an entire presentation. Presenting and speaking in a video like this are very different. I've done presentation in school when I was getting my master's. I've done presentations in the military to higher ranking officers. I've done presentations at work to vice presidents, to CEOs. And it's very different doing a presentation on a PowerPoint or whatever and doing a video recording, because it's a different sort of dance. So understanding how to use tone in different scenarios is an art. It's an actual craft that you have to practice. So whatever scenario you are in, whatever environment you're in, just make sure that you're crafting your tone to that environment. Now, if you're in the business setting and you are a leader, a manager of various employees, guess what? Your tone is going to have to change depending on who you talk to. So my best advice here with tone is to catch yourself. Make yourself aware of the tone that you're using when you're speaking. And this is a good practice because as you talk more and as you direct yourself to talking to employees, you might catch yourself and be like, I shouldn't have said that. Or you might talk to your boss and say, oh, I should have been more professional. Oh, I should have been more firm. Or you can think of your communication with a customer where you say, man, I should have been more firm. Oh, I should have been softer. Keep track of your tone, play with it a little bit, see what that happy medium is and see where you need to improve. Because I do that a lot. I catch myself and I think, okay, that was not professional, or that was not as professional as I wanted it to be, or that was too professional, whatever it is, right? Maybe I'm too firm and everybody is relaxed. Keeping that idea of what tone should be is a good example for you to work on. So tone is very important, but it also matters what words you use, to be honest. So politeness, clarity, and specificity can make a big difference. For example, saying, I think we should consider this option is more inviting than you saying, we need to do this, right? By you saying, I think we should consider this option, you're leaving it as an open-ended question for them to really consider and evaluate other options. But when you say, we need to do this, it comes off as dictatorial where you're not even giving the option. So choosing your words wisely is important because one opens up the floor for discussion, the other one comes off as demanding. When you want to encapsulate your audience or your team, you don't speak blandly. Think of when you're trying to make a partner blush, do you say, oh, you look pretty? Or do you say, wow, you look beautiful? Which one do you think is going to get the better reaction? Now, hold up. I'm not trying to tell you to go and tell all your employees that they're beautiful. That's not what I'm getting at. Relax, Diddy. However, as a leader in the workplace, you motivate your team by pushing them. So you don't try to say, let's try to complete as many orders. Let's try to make more sales. No, you don't say that. You say, let's get more orders. Let's get more sales. Let's get it done. That's the type of words that you would use. So again, tone is important, but your word usage is also very important. Make sure that your tone and the usage of your words align together. Hey team, if you're stuck in your professional career or you need assistance in perfecting your resume or interview skills, you are in luck. I am offering one-on-one coachings where you and I will sit together, we will review your resume, I can provide a template, and we will tailor it specifically for the jobs that you're looking for. I will teach you exactly what people at a director or VP level look at when they're reviewing resumes. I have interviewed over hundreds of employees, so I know exactly what to look for when a resume lands on my desk for a senior manager position. I will guide you to perfect your resume, and we will do mock interviews to prepare you as much as possible. Don't wait, let's pave the path to greater wealth, and there's a link in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Your nonverbal communication is also very important. Your body language, your facial expressions, your eye contact plays a significant role in how your message is received. Open body language, like what I try to do in the videos where I have my hands moving, I kind of do that naturally, but open body language would be this. I don't have my arms crossed. I could nod if I was in a conversation with somebody. I would nod. I would show that I'm approachable and that I'm engaged in the conversation. Maybe I'll smile more if I'm talking to somebody. If I'm in a meeting or I'm doing an interview or something, I could smile. I could nod. Depending on the conversation, when they say something that's maybe not hilarious, something that's just a bit funny, I would just smile and say something simple like, I agree. Or totally, you know what I mean? When I was editing my videos, I noticed that I was doing this. I was putting myself all the way to the back and I had my microphone over here and it was at an angle on those first videos I recorded. And as I was editing, I was looking at that and I'm thinking, why do I look so relaxed? Like I'm mad chilling here in this video, and I really hated it, and I decided to upload it anyways because it's part of the learning process. I did the recordings and I was like, I'm not gonna redo the whole recording. But to be fair, I have back problems from my time in the Marine Corps, so it hurts to sit straight for a long time, so I do need back support, so which is why I do this. But it still was something that I noticed that I probably shouldn't do. But that type of slouching was a nonverbal communication that I saw myself do and that the audience, I'm sure, as well picked up on. Nonverbal communication when you're doing presentations is also very important with your hands because this is a way of expelling energy. If you're kind of jittery and you're super nervous, the more you move your hands during the presentation, you point, you look, you go like this to the audience, it's a way of expelling energy. You do want to be free. You want to walk around the stage. You want to look around. You want to point. You don't want to stand like a toothpick just like this because you're going to emit a different type of energy. And remember, the key here is to look friendly. Don't worry about trying to look powerful and, oh man, you're just crossing your arms and being upset. No, don't worry about that type of stuff. The feeling of power shouldn't come from being anti-friendly or from being more aggressive or assertive. It should come from the message, the actual content that you're portraying to the audience. And context is key here. Always consider the context in which you're delivering your message. A joke that works in a casual setting might not be appropriate in a formal setting. Similarly, feedback in public forums can be humiliating. You don't want to be giving feedback in front of everybody, in front of the entire audience. Rather, you'll bring that person in and you do a one-on-one feedback for constructive criticism. I mean, really, it's just about being self-aware and making sure that the comments you make are not out of line. Also, to have effective communication, it has to be a two-way street. Make sure that you listen to your audience's responses because this shows respect and it allows you to adjust your message in real time. For instance, if you kind of notice the audience confused, that people are just looking around, they're not sure what's going on, you can clarify your point immediately and maybe backtrack a little bit and say, okay, let me hit on this. Even though it wasn't planned, it wasn't part of the presentation or part of the meeting, but doing that can at least clear the air. Always feel free to ask questions, and the important factor here is to actively participate in a sort of ritual with your audience. You are receiving from them just as much as they're receiving from you. You give, they give as well. Now, obviously in a YouTube setting like this, I am talking to a camera, so there is no receptive communication. But if you were in a meeting or in a interview, whatever it is, it has to be two-way. There has to be a give and take. And be very receptive to this. I've seen leaders who are in presentations and they get insulted when there's a little bit of questions that push back on their initial message. You don't want to be that person. You want to be receptive. You want to show the audience that you understand where they're coming from, that you have the answers, and maybe at that time you don't have the answers, you can get back to them, but don't get alarmed and don't be offended. And the truth is that these questions are what you want because they're what's going to keep the wheel spinning. Those questions that have you thinking that you really have to stay quiet for maybe 5-10 seconds while your brain is processing everything, those are the ones that are going to matter a lot. Those are the ones that are going to matter because you're going to give the best message possible. Those are the ones that are going to have the actual bread and butter because they're impromptu. And I love impromptu conversations and statements because it's honestly, for me at least, it's the time where I can say exactly what I feel and I don't have to have a script to say it because it just comes out and you don't have the time to go back and redo it and reshoot the shot. No, it's exactly what you actually saw. So the better you get at mastering your communication, the better your message to the audience and the customer gets. And in turn, the better your impact. Good communication is about turning complex ideas into relatable stories that ensure clarity and engage your audience. Remember, the goal here isn't to be heard, it's to be understood and remembered. You want the audience, you want the interviewer, you want the interviewee to remember that specific communication that you had with them and that they can think back on. You want the coaching session to be profitable if you're in business. You want whatever it is. The communication has to be so good that it will be remembered. And if you're doing coachings or you're doing meetings or presentations with people or you're doing YouTube videos, in my sense, what I tell myself is that my interactions are going to convey an information and they're going to build a relationship and establish my credibility to the audience. Because right now I have credibility where the areas I've been in with the people I know, but the audience receiving this current message are people who don't know me, right? So there is no credibility on my end. I have to prove that through my message and I have to work on my communication to adjust it to fit this audience. So I have to practice my own strategies and watch my communication style as it evolves into a different medium. And lastly, I'll say that effective communication is a powerful tool that can set you apart in any field. It's about making your words resonate, inspire, and lead to action. So start today and become the communicator you've always wanted to be. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.